Mame fa na se ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de o se dem yopo.
I have one for me mo bibiara kwa eba PENDREAM TV. Kwesi Pratt Jr. de Zambia to Jack Watcher said the negative legacy the Mesa former president Nana Addo Akufo-Addo obe me say NPP party ene o my Ghana no eno na ma eni NPP party na beta ni say as a NPP for ewo obi a omobebli mu no and as a NPP for obi a omobebo no somo a omofa somo ni na emo Nana Addo Akufo-Addo na eni ono na ma NPP party ni di and I say ono na good party no and sembi ka we na Kwesi Pratt Jr. ade atuda kan ho na kwati na nsaba enchire mi subscribe na share twumade no ma afoforo ensa enka bi jaale enchire e wo comment section ho kan ho na nti ensama Kwesi Pratt Jr. ade atuda.
The party is in the state in which it is today largely because of the negative legacy of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. That Nana Addo Akufo-Addo did not just mess up the party, he messed up the country. And to that extent, if we have to move forward, we have to jettison Nana Akufo-Addo and everything he stands for in order to be able to move forward. I've already mentioned about 7 or 8 trends, different trends, not converging at any point. And there are more. But let me limit myself to these 8 trends. Now, given this state of affairs, this party requires extraordinary leadership to be able to congeal again and to move forward. Where is that leadership? That's the problem. Where is that leadership which will be able to pull all these different forces, all these different trends together in order to build something which is wholesome or appears to be wholesome in order to move forward? And Sana, I've been looking and looking and looking and I can't find. And I would be pleased if there's anybody who can point to a leadership who can unite all these different trends, and move this party forward. There's something that I've been trying to understand. I've tried so much, I can't understand it. This party set up a committee headed by Professor Mike Okwe to talk to party foot soldiers, to talk to activists, to try and find out what went wrong. Why the party performed so badly, so very badly. There must be reasons. So the Professor Okwe committee was established to find out what went wrong. The committee says that it has finished its work. Indeed, it has written a report. The party says that those who gave the reasons for why we are here are not entitled to see the report. My goodness, what is this? The report is a secret. Yeah. It's not a secret from NDC or so on. It's not something that should be hidden from NDC and CPP and GCPP and so on. The very members whose views were collated into a report cannot see the report. What is this? Maybe you guys can understand it. I've been struggling to understand it. I can't. So the report is prepared. It is submitted to some selected people in the party. They say leadership or whatever it is. And then they say, we are the only people who can see the report. You, constituency chairman, so you can't see the report. How can you implement this report if it is secret? But that is the position they are taking. You understand? Now there's something interesting. Some of the leaders have actually said that, oh, you remember the Kwesi report? It was not made public. So we are following the Kwesi example. How can you beat the National Democratic Congress when at every stage you want to copy them? It's incredible. This is a party which actually wants to beat the National Democratic Congress. But at every stage, if you listen to them, say, what? The NDC did this 3 years ago. The NDC did this 5 years ago. The NDC did this 10 years ago. And that is what we must copy. Copy? I can't believe it. And indeed, my brother here, Protocol, said the same things here. You remember? I'm saying that the NPP leadership, they have to copy President Mahama. He said it. That they have to copy President Mahama. So you think copy will bring you to power? Okay, God bless you. Unbelievable. Now you know what is happening? They have decided to keep this report secret. But every day you go to social media, there is something claiming to be part of the report. Now how are we to know whether what is on social media is a report or is not a report? The only way we can know whether what is on the social media is the report or not the report is to publish the report. You understand? Now, what is so damning in the report that you want to hide it from the rest of us? You are telling us that you did some things which are so bad that if we get to know, we will never trust you again. That's what you are telling us. This morning, I saw something on social media. I laughed. I'm hoping that it is not true. I'm sure all of you have seen it. The part we said that womanizing.
Yes.
And we allow this to stay. Publish the real report so that we know that it's not womanizing which led to your defeat. They say, hey, these party leaders, they didn't select at all. They didn't care whether the women were married or not. You have seen that thing on social media. It may not be true. But how do we tell the truth from falsehood? In any case, me, I'm even surprised.
What sort of mischief is this?
The mischief is coming from Kwesi, Pratt.
It's persistent.
It's persistent. Perhaps you are guilty of saying that's why you are smiling. If you know your experience.
Report that we are giving you pages, copious provisions in the report, you say no.
But Uncle Kwesi, there's even one worse one. It says one particular person who complained about where money was going, his testicles were grabbed. The direction of the testicles were changed.
My other problem is simply this. I mean, if the NPP needed to set up a committee headed by a professor to find out why it lost the elections, then there's something wrong with that party. Because everybody knew. We were told that we were losing the elections. Global Info Analytics every week was telling you that we were losing the elections. This is why we are losing the elections. Then we went and got some God-forsaken professor from Kumasi to go and do a counter survey who showed that Bawumia was way ahead. And we were happy. And that professor, you know, I met him somewhere. He's a friend of mine. I met him.
Where Professor Sapon?
Please, I deliberately didn't mention the name.
For purposes of discussion, so that...
If you want to mention a name, go ahead and mention it. But I deliberately didn't mention the name.
I see.
He's my very good friend. So before, the day before the results, he put out the results. I met him and I said, be careful. Because if you go and skew a report and come and put it there, your professorship will be dented forever. Your image will be dented forever. He didn't listen, he went and did it. Concocted some survey. Came and put it out. You people in the NPP, you knew that that report was concocted, and yet that is what we're throwing everywhere. And so, why would you lose the elections? You see, everything about this election was known. In this country, every scientific survey will tell you that for electioneering purposes, the towering figure in Ghana up to today is Kwame Nkrumah. Because I knew the NDC did a survey, I think in the 2008 elections, to see what the important pillars were for elections. And in 2008, Nkrumah still stood heads and shoulders above every phenomena, every human being, anything in this country. You understand? We are going into an election, and your target of attack is Nkrumah. The man is not even here. He's not in the elections. He died on April 27, 1972. That you are throwing bombs at Nkrumah and so on, and you want to win an election? You should go and ask President John Addo Kufuor. For President John Addo Kufuor to win elections, do you know what he did? They actually erected billboards of him and Nkrumah. You remember? Billboards of him and Nkrumah smiling together. And he insisted that he was going to work with the CPP if he came to power, and so on. It galvanized his campaign and so on. Now, even Nana Akufo-Addo's campaign, benefited from the fact that at one stage he was a member of the Convention People's Party. So people saw him as one of their own and so on. You decided to jettison that. You decided to say all manner of derogatory things about Nkrumah and so on. And you expected to win an election. Unbelievable. The other thing which for me was striking, anytime the NDC made a promise, you went and repeated the promise. NDC said, we abolish e-levy. But I can say, when I also win, I will abolish e-levy. Who introduced e-levy in the first place? You introduced e-levy. Because Muhammad says that you abolish e-levy, you are not even standing your ground and justifying e-levy. You say you will also follow Muhammad and abolish e-levy. So who will believe you? NDC and Muhammad from the very beginning were opposed to e-levy. They have been consistently opposed to e-levy. You introduced it. So between you and Muhammad, who do you expect the Ghanaian people to believe will abolish e-levy if they hand over power to you? This is the campaign you launched. John Muhammad comes and says, well, if I win, I won't govern this country with more than 60 ministers. Then quickly you come and say, as for me, I will govern with 50 ministers. You expect people to believe you? Do you expect people to believe you? So it was a horrible campaign which was done. And then one regional chairman, as for him, oh Jesus the Christ, he really did you in. Holds a press conference and says that you don't know. You see, when Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown in Ghana, the people of Guinea took him as their co-president. Nana Akufo-Addo has done better than Kwame Nkrumah. So, it is possible that in the near future, the people of Britain or even the US will come and take Nana Akufo-Addo as their president. This is your campaign message. Are you mad? You expect people to vote for you when you talk like this. Another regional chairman or the same regional chairman, I'm not sure, told us that what if he elect Bawumia in the first 4 years, in his first term, Ghana will go to space.
The same chairman.
We will build spacecrafts and we'll explore the moon and explore Saturn and so on. How could you have won an election with these kinds of promises? Do you need to set up an Okwe committee to find out why you lost the elections? Unbelievable. And then the jives at some ethnic groups and so on. And we wanted to win the elections. It was not possible. This is the most humiliating defeat that the New Patriotic Party has suffered, perhaps since 1979. The most humiliating defeat. And it is important for you guys to recognize that. Since 1979, this is the most humiliating defeat. You have suffered many defeats. But as for this defeat, what? Nothing comes close. You know, and then last week I was reading the newspapers and I saw one of them from Parliament saying that, oh, he expected the Mahama administration to fail. But not so soon. It has failed too early. And that this is the surest indication that the NPP is coming back to power in 2008. Master, if this party is to be reorganized, stop the daydreaming. Wake up to reality and stop the daydreaming. Who today, under these circumstances, is going to take power or give their power to the New Patriotic Party? I mean, all you have to do is to play Sarah Dua Safu over and over again. And it's clear. And you see, for me it is interesting that that lady has become the center of attraction in the New Patriotic Party. This is a lady who actually believes that her father is able to fly in the night without aircraft. Magically fly in the night from here to any part of the world if you mention the father's name. How do you call it in English? She believes that. She says that.
That's metaphysics. Transports himself.
They call it something, transpodent or something, you know, I've forgotten. She believes that. She's the center of attraction, center of organization.
It's the center of the party. It's the party.
A negation, complete negation of science.
The party.
Complete negation of science. But anyway, who am I? I mean, strictly speaking, who am I? So believe what you want to believe. There's another guy, strong member of the party, and in the thick of the elections, on the Kumasi TV station. This guy actually said that, look, we know that you people in Kumasi, you won't vote for us. He said it. That we know that you will not vote for us. But we don't care. Because we have dwarfs who will change your vote. Whatever you put in the ballot box, our dwarfs will come and change the votes. And we will win. Can you imagine? I think it was the same guy who said that if Mahama wins the election, he will change his nationality. He's still there. He's still in Kumasi, carrying a Ghanaian passport. So we are going into an election, a crucial election like this one, and you tell us that you can vote wherever you want to vote. We don't care. You can vote for NDC. We don't care. We have dwarfs who will go into the ballot box and change the results. And you believe this stupidity. I mean, incredible things were said. You know, really incredible things were said. And you allowed it. And then they came up with this idea that indeed the whole election was a dancing competition. You remember? They thought that the whole 2024 election was just a dancing competition. Now, if you think that the election is a dancing competition, go and get good dancers. Then, they taught their flag bearer a few missteps. So everywhere they started playing Sisifia, and he was shaking his waist to it. How do you win elections this way? Dancing to Sisifia. And then now you set up microcode commission to find out why you lost the election. Go and dance Sisifia. Incredible. Ghana is a serious country. You see? And I think that the Ghanaian electorate ought to be taken seriously. Any political party that does not take the Ghanaian electorate seriously is doomed to fail, to be defeated so massively. So I think that the starting point is that the new patriotic party must begin to take the Ghanaian electorate seriously. Please consider the Ghanaian electorate as a body of people who think, as a body of people who can tell their conditions today as against their conditions tomorrow. In a matter of 4 years, the price of Kenke had jumped. Boom! From 50 pesos to 5 cedis. And you didn't think it was an important thing? You didn't think that it was an important thing? Well, look, we are in an era of multi-party, bourgeois multi-party. For bourgeois multi-party rule to make any sense, to make any impact on the lives of our citizens, you need to have strong contending political parties. And that is the reason why people like me want to wish the new patriotic party well. I really want to wish the new patriotic party well. But it is not our wishes which will transform that party. You understand? It is not our wishes. The party itself has a responsibility to respect its core values. The party itself has a responsibility to put knowledgeable and responsible people into positions of leadership. The party itself has a responsibility to itself to understand the Ghanaian condition. If we don't do that, well, it is possible that some other party can spring up and offer the NDC the challenge it needs. If you don't do that, it is possible that your party can go into extinction. If you don't do that, so many possibilities await you in the near future. I wish the new patriotic party well.
And thank you very much for simplifying the entire matter. Yeah.
This is astral travel. Astral.
I'll show something else.
No, I think there's a one word that describes exactly what he was talking
transpose. About. Is it transpose?
I think that there's a word.
There's one small point that I forgot that Uncle Kwesi too forgot. You had a regional chairman who sits on television and takes gold bars out of his bag, puts it on, and then asks the presenter, should I bring more? Should I bring more? Like Uncle Kwesi, remember in the times past there was a magician who used to come on TV called Professor Diago. He had a dwarf and his wife called Nanama. And he say, when I say more, you say more. When I say more, you say more. When I say Ozi, you say Ozi Oza. When I say Ori, you say Ori Changer. And that is what you were doing. Ori Changer, Amiri Changer, Ozi Oza. He was bringing gold bars upon gold bars. Were you happy when you saw the gold bars? Have you seen a gold bar in your life before? Have you seen some before?
I don't want to comment.
So now that the chaos has come, why isn't Wuntumi sitting here? So that Uncle Kwesi can give him some choice English that he may not understand. Why are you sitting here? Have you seen gold before? So you people should exercise humility. But in the interest of, I don't want NDC to become a one-party government, because that inherent with it. So no, I'm making your point that inherent with a one-party state is the dangers therein. We may just end up becoming like you. We'll forget ourselves. This country needs good governance, but even more importantly than good governance, it needs good opposition. People who can call out government to do the right thing. It is imperative that it happens. But when you have party chairmen who go and commit crimes in our forest and come up and show you the products and the proceeds thereof on television stations and shows you gold bars, do you think the people of Kumasi who can't get water to drink, who don't have good roads, they are happy to see the gold bars?
Thank you very much. And of course, we'll be talking about that because before LI 2462 was passed, something significant happened. That was the reports of the chairman of the NPP in the Ashanti region, a company he owns, actually entering a forest. And there was much discussion about the illegality of that move. Then that was followed by LICs for 2462 that allowed anybody who wanted to enter into the forest. But Kwesi, the word, I think the word is, because this Kobina, the word is teleport. I think the word is teleportation. Yes, that's the word. Thank you. Thank you very much for saying that. There's a Kwesi Akwa who says, tell Uncle Kwesi that where we are, Ghana first, we need to develop Ghana, especially the roots. Then there's let me see a few more comments here. Aaron Bebe back again. I like Senior Kwesi Pratt submissions, talking sense into NPP. They were too power drunk, so they talked anyhow to Ghanaians, thinking that Ghanaians were thinking. We're not thinking. They should forget about coming into power today or tomorrow. Some more comments. Says, greetings, Senna. Greetings, my adorable social commentator of Kwesi Pratt and the rest of the guests. Senna, it will take the mercies of God for NPP to see power after 30 years, because NPP can be serious that they failed this country. And at a certain time, you think Ghana has been sold to voodoo or juju because nothing was working. And now God has given us a savior who's John Mahama to reset the entire country. Still, NPP is trying to be diabolic. I'm solidly behind John Mahama to succeed. Richard, send that. Richard, thank you very much for sharing that. A few more comments. This from Answama Dojo. My name is Vincent Odro, aka Proverbs 29:2. Arrogance caused the NPP government into opposition. They disrespected Ghanaians. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. A lot more comments coming, actually repeating the same word that we're looking for. Musa Batwa said, in Asawase says, frankly, we don't need the NPP to release any official report on their humiliating defeat. The reasons for their downfall are already well documented in the daily experiences of ordinary Ghanaians. Their unchecked arrogance, deeply entrenched corruption, and unapologetic nepotism were on full display throughout their time in power. So no amount of internal review or public relations spin can erase the reality that the NPP lost because they failed. Thank you. Then there's this one that thanks for the opportunity. In fact, Ghanaians are too soft for NPP. NPP should be declared a criminal organization and be banned. These are the people who will never speak the truth, but they think that they are always the best kind of human beings. Nana should be prosecuted and jailed to serve as a deterrent to all corrupt presidents in Africa. Please, Ghana must lead this campaign. Mr. President Mahama. Michael Chukudo sent that from Ho in the Volta region. Sule Nyangpala says, so the NPP knows what caused their defeat. They are pretending Nanado was the cause, and they are afraid to tell him in his face. Clearly, it wasn't only Nanado. Even the way the campaign was run, as described vividly by Mr. Pratt alone, was problematic. Well, in the meantime, they said they've set up a committee. The committee will look at the report and see what changes can be made. Learning from the report. That's what was.
Even the choice of Professor Okwe to lead that commission in and of itself was wrong, because Professor Okwe was one of the bullet points of the maladministration within the NPP. He was a Kufuor's leading Pied Piper. Right? In our case, we selected the late Professor Kwesi, God rest his soul, because he was seen as somebody who was basically above board in many of the things that happened during our time. Professor Kwesi was Akufo-Addo's leading implementer. If you remove the current Chief Justice.
I'll come back because we'll start with you on the second issue of Galamsey. But before that, let me acknowledge that we are live on Kiss FM 89.7 in Takrady, Shine FM in Akachi on 96.1, Hills FM in Adaklu 91.7, Newasi Radio Ketekrachi is on 89.7, Tela Radio Dabala 97.1, Diamond FM in Tamale on 93.7, Bewa Radio Yendi 106.5, Radio Kitao in Saboba on 95.7, Benya FM Elmina on 105.7, Global FM 105.1 in Ho, Zebs FM 95.9 in Zebila, True FM 92.5 in Adeso, Lamara FM 89.1 in Tripoli, Boem 88.7 FM in Jessica, Lukusi 96.1 in Virgo Lukwati, Time FM 90.9, Sekwele 104.3, Akwini Radio in Pando, Denyuba Radio on 90.9 FM, then OT Radio in Dambai. Mr. Chumbafo, on the Galamsey matter.
Senator, good morning once again. Galamsey and the evil that it causes to our environment is something that I'm very passionate about. And even though I wish that it would have disappeared immediately President Mahama came to power, I also recognize that it will take time. The people who are the criminals are going to push back. They will push back in all forms, because gold is the source of all evil in this world. And unfortunately, Ghana being endowed with so much of it in and of itself presents what people have termed the Dutch disease. That is the very, very, very minerals that God has endowed you with ends up becoming a curse because of exploitation, over-exploitation. I mean, people are killing our environment, killing flora, killing fauna, diverting rivers, killing aquatic life, and unbalancing nature simply to get those gold bars and take it out of the country to sell. And what we are doing is destroying our country. Because one fine day, there will be nothing left. We are diverting the natural courses of rivers to wash sand so that they can get the ore to go and, smelter to get the gold bars. Like I have said, and I don't want anybody to adopt my methods. But if I had my choice, I would have adopted a shoot-to-kill policy. Because those people are also well armed. You saw what they did to the river guard the other day. You see what they've been doing to policemen, soldiers. You saw what happened to Major Mahama. Because they will protect that industry to the death. And I do not see why we cannot apply same to them. But of course, that is my view. That is not the view of my political party. That is not the view of the president of this republic and whom I serve. But it is just my personal view, because I feel responsible when I see children without limbs. I feel responsible when I see people who are in their 30s and early 40s with kidney disease. I feel responsible when I see rivers that were once jade green or aquatic blue now become mud puddles, and you see even the fish struggling for air. They are so, you've seen newsreels of people so capricious that they see the fish, the mud skippers, carry them and throw them away, because they are not even interested in the food that it offers us. They are interested in simply getting the boat. So that would have been my and I also want to see that LI repealed. I don't want to see it adapted, changed, modified. I want to see it repealed. Because the only way we can stop the likes of Wuntumi and Sampine transmogrifying the ill that they do in any form is to repeal that law completely. Yes, mining has been good for this country, but mining has also been bad for this country. And if you don't know why mining has been bad for this country, go to Obuasi, go to Daban, go to Takwa, go to Prisia, go to Uni Valley. How has gold transformed their lives? Those places, if we even had enacted the right legislation, should be the bedrock of our business communities because of what they offer from the bowels of the earth. If we had, for example, if we had legislation that said that 25% of the revenues of the gold that we mine should be invested in those communities, wouldn't we have schools, businesses, technology belts? Wouldn't we have the free zones springing up from all those places? But no, we just allow people to take, and foreigners for that matter. We allowed same in the timber industry today. The timber industry is virtually destroyed. Go to Kumasi, go and see. Go and read the history of the timber industry in Kwesi and find out how many indigenous businessmen were doing logging as opposed to a lot of foreigners. So, Galamsey must end, or in the form in which it is, must end. We cannot live in a country where Chinese people come to this country and come and destroy our environment at the behest of our own citizens. Let's not blame the Chinese alone, our own citizens. Because guess what? When we deport the Chinese people, when they get to their own country, they are persecuted. Because in China, if they did the kind of things they did here, they will be executed. So we cannot allow this to go on. We are all adding them around this table. I'm sure my brother Idrisu is also adding them with us, that the current disposition where we have people destroying our drinking water and our environment because of greed must end. I do not sit here and profess to have the tools or even to have the knowledge on how to do it. All I know is that I'm an engineer, and I can tell you that when you poison the water in the Birimi River, sooner or later it will get to East Legon, and indeed it has, because there is a mechanism of seepage and drainage within our groundwater that transports those offending chemicals, because there is a method, or there is a method in which it transports to a semi-permeable membrane mechanism, and it will get to us. If you remember, there was a report that says outgrowers who were growing lettuce and carrots somewhere in the Ponglo area, they were recording high rates of cadmium, mercury, and lead. And where did that come from? It came from Daman, came from Takwa, came from where Wuntumi is doing his business. You don't go into the source of the Tano River that feeds the Barikesi Dam, go and destroy it, and then think that you come and destroy it, you come and show us the gold bars in Kumasi, you will not be drinking the water or using it to bath. People think that, oh, when you drink pure water or when you drink bottled water, it's okay. Do you bath with bottled water? Because if you bath with the bad water, the minerals that are in the water will seep into your skin. Don't you know that? Are you surprised that people are sitting down and all of a sudden people who are as dark as some of us are now looking like they are now looking like they are Japanese citizens? Are you not surprised that in a moment Solo can be bathing that water and start looking like a Joasafu and speaking like a Joasafu? Eh? Talking about the party.
The party.
The party. It's all part of the Galamsey. Changes even your accent. So let's be careful.
Idrisu, this is from opinion Kwesi Klagontama West, who says, you see, NPP took advantage of how Ghanaians have been deceived by them with fake messages from them before voting. Right from ages, they had been telling lies, propaganda against Kwame Nkrumah, and Ghanaians believed their lies. This made them to be dancing and still copying what NDC were promising. I think the people now knows the truth, so it will be difficult for them to bring...
We will not be gaslighted by the submission of Honorable Kojochun Boafo. Why am I saying so? I am saying this on the backdrop that the NDC government, the NDC which has actually constituted government today, use this particular issue of Galamsey very, very much as a weapon. Now, today, you are now in power. So we will not allow you to sit and romanticize issues as though you are doing something, which indeed you are not actually doing anything. It is not for nothing that, because if you read the Bradland report, and of course even the Minamata Convention and all other issues that came out, we realize that nature continues to kick back, because when people are allowed to mine or to destroy our forest cover just for purposes of what they term as Faustian bargain, that is to what is it called, to pillage the lands and all that, and of course its devastating consequences would come and affect us. We ought not to sit down. Now the NDC, as in opposition, came and criticized the government of the day, and that the president needed to declare what they term as state of emergency. So all these particular kinds of, sitting down and talking 19s to the dozen would be nipped to the bud, or would be nipped in the bud if indeed the president, through executive instrument, actually issued this particular state of emergency. All these kinds of nonsense will stop. So what is stopping the president from declaring state of emergency? Now that is very critical. You see, for me, I think it is an organized crime, because I've even indicated to you the level at which illegal Galamsey has actually transmogrified, to the extent that people are being weaponized, such that when even state security would have to even go to that particular place, they have to those forests, they have to take permission from these people. That is the current status quo today. So we are not going to acquiesce to whatever explanations that the NDC or its apologies are going to bring out. What we demand is that the government of today, it is their responsibility to make sure that they correct those particular problems which hitherto they said was wrong. Indeed, they are now in power. They should also try as much as they can to be able to solve this. Why? Because today, as we have it, almost within those particular areas, they are not able to get a very good drinking water. Even to the extent that people who are manufacturing sashi water, there was a report that indicates that there was some elements of hard compounds that can be traced in those particular pure water that we call pure water. So that has actually become a very serious issue that must not be glossed over. So I think that sitting here to be explaining all these things is neither here nor there. What I want to say and to suggest is that there was a report that showed that illegal Galamsey or mining, and for that matter the sale of gold, my uncle asked whether I've ever seen gold. I will not answer that. But to use someone else's activity, to want to justify that it is the NPP that has sanctioned that particular, when you were copiously referring to Chairman Wontumi and when he was displaying those particular gold bars, that for me, you see, for me, I wouldn't. What I know is that if indeed such situation, because every individual has their way of maybe trying to show wealth, but for me, I wouldn't even have, go into that particular tangent, because I didn't see it to be necessary. Just to come on air and to show those, to portray to people that yes, I have made it in life through good and all that. That for me was in bad taste. I think that you are disturbed when you were speaking. I was virtually I was sleeping.
Please let him.
So you see,
let him.
Because I'm trying to show that many of you were
Please,
counting. I do not disagree with you that you thought it was impacting.
So you see,
let him.
I want you to join me to call on the president to declare state of emergency. Now, in his rebuttal to issues about cocaine and all,
into my own house.
but why so you see that particular proverb. So it tells you that when people, when people are in opposition at a particular point in time, they have different mindset. But when they come to government, there is what we call reality check on them. That is just what he has just said. So for me, I think that we should take cue from that. Now, there's what we call money laundering in relation to Galamsey and, of course, the sale of gold and all those. And I'm very happy that you are here. And I want to make a passionate appeal to you, because you are the acting CEO of the Financial Intelligence Center. Every now and then, there is a plethora of reports that comes out to suggest that foreigners, even within those particular mining industry, repatriate those particular monies just because they are mining gold in Ghana, and for that matter, they repatriate those particular monies out of the domestic economy. That is where your responsibility is actually being called to question. If indeed at a particular point in time, if there is a report that would suggest that there was some kind of illegalities that actually went on within those particular industries, such that some amount of dollars has been repatriated illegally out of the country, you probably would also share the part of the blame, because you pay the pay your position as the Financial Intelligence Center CEO. You work based on the Financial Intelligence Act, if I'm not wrong. So you ought to ensure that all these particular ills that is actually, as it were, destroying the country, you should be a perfect person to solve this particular problem for us, because when that is how come, even if we try to solve problems of inflation and all that, we are not able to. Why? Because when large chunk of the Ghana cedi is actually being turned into a dollar, and which is repatriated out of the domestic economy, it will have a telling effect on the economy. So I'm making that particular passionate appeal to you to ensure that this particular problem is actually nipped in the bud. That for me is also very critical.
Let me just highlight something.
Okay. I will yield to you.
Please.
I'd
like him to continue and if you have something to.
Okay.
It's important. Listen, people are listening. Please read the
Financial Intelligence Act.
No, the AML Act 1044.
Okay.
It enjoins the Financial Intelligence Center to act upon information. But let me tell you where the real money laundering is going on.
Okay.
It is going in real estate. Because if you try to transport it out of the country, it will be seen and stopped immediately. It's not even a question. It will not pass go. It is being transported. Listen to me, I beg you. It is being put in real estate. Go around Accra. You see that as soon as President Mohammed became president, everybody is digging a hole to put up a building. That's where it is going. So maybe you should bring some of your cronies. Come and tell me some of your.
Subscribe and share the video for and coming. Macro, you be share in the next video.
Mamena PENDREAM TV now so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.